Also, declaring housing a human right is great, but what John forgot to mention is we need public housing, social housing as a right. This is where our tax dollars go. I wonder. Here it is. I found it. Ultra luxury tower rising on South Broad signals success of Philly's tax abatement. I knew it. I didn't even know. I just knew it though. Every time. An ultra luxury South Broad Street condo tower will offer Center City's elite the chance to live, party, and garden without ever leaving the building. That was the promise made by developer Carl Dranoff at a groundbreaking ceremony for the 47-story residential development he plans to build over the hole in the ground where the legendary Gable and Huff recording studio once stood. The $253 million art house development will put 108 condos priced at $2 to $10 million under a soaring spire on the property at Broad and Spruce, across the street from the Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts. Dranoff said the forthcoming project's iconic design by architectural firm Cohn Peterson Fox would place it among landmark structures like City Hall. House derives from the Bauhaus movement, a period of architecture and design that stressed function and form over decoration and excess. Although the building shares few outward Bauhaus design elements, you think the condo units would be called houses and come with meticulous design touches. Holy fuck. Okay. Ketty praised the skyscraper as a milestone for the center city and a success story for the city's 10-year tax abatement. So the rich fucks who live in a $10 million condo get 10 years of tax breaks. And if you're a shitty fucking poor middle class person, eat shit and die. I know we've had a lot of discussion and controversy about the 10-year tax abatement. It works, Kenny said. It works. It has worked. It's why people are living in Center City. Alluding to recent criticism of the development incentive as a giveaway to money developers and wealthy home buyers, he indicated that while the reform is possible, the abatement is here to stay. It may be something that needs to be tweaked in some way so it's more acceptable to other communities, Kennedy said. His comments on the abatement earned applause from the crowd of real estate professionals and public officials. Buyers of the multi-million-dollar condos will benefit from the tax break for a decade at a cost of several $million in tax revenue the city would otherwise earn. Dranoff said the concession would help attract buyers that will make the art house project viable and pay off for the city in the long run. So the city has to pay for 10 years of services for these people, and they don't have to pay any taxes. Incredible. And, oh my God, incredible. Every fucking time, dude. Every fucking time. And it was funny because when I was talking to some other content creator, and I was like, hey, they were talking about how at least neoliberals have ideas, right? And I was like, what? He's like, you have to vote for neoliberals because they have ideas, at least. Us socialists don't have any ideas. And I was like, wow, I thought you were an anarchist, and here you are defending voting for neoliberals in primaries. That's weird. That's odd. Huh. And I was like, well, it doesn't seem like you know much about municipal politics. It seems like you're kind of a bullshitter and a loser. And they didn't know what a TIF was. That's what it is, in case you were wondering. That's what it is. Tax breaks for rich people. Same developer from 1998. The new building would have 320 high-end apartments, about $60 million undertaking. Dranoff said that the first step in getting financing together is the TIF. That's what a TIF is, chat. That's what a TIF is. He was referring to tax increment financing that allows the city to assess taxes on a property or group of properties for up to 20 years based on the value of the site before it was developed. Developers could get reduced financing. So in other words, these rich condos are paid for by tax dollars. So we're not building public housing with tax dollars. We're not building affordable housing. We're putting tax dollars for the richest of the rich. That's what a TIF is. If you ever want to know. Holy fucking hell, dude. Socialism for me, privatization for thee again. That's how it works. Reporters were asked to leave the Uvalde City Hall because people are intimidated by us. Texas legislators are meeting here with law enforcement behind closed doors. The fire marshal also told a local chaplain and father of a victim to exit the building.
Can I ask you why they would be intimidated by us?
No, sir, I can ask you to leave again, please.
I understand that, but why would they be intimidated by us?
Why does a fire marshal have a gun? Why does the fire marshal have a gun? Evie, thank you for the 13 months. I don't know. Or 60 months. I don't know that. I don't know. Nothing.
Has someone complained to you, sir, about being intimidated?
Actually, yes.
Like
We
who?
actually had a lady that had a panic attack last week.
Because reporters were in the room?
Yeah, she just freaked out.
Okay.
So what? And who asked? Who cares? If you have a panic attack, if you have panic attacks because other people are around you, that's your problem. That's your fucking problem. Let's have some fun. John Fetterman is absolutely... We looked at these tweets ourselves, actually, but I wanna talk about it again because it's fucking funny. John Fetterman is absolutely ass blasting Dr. Oz. Just totally destroyed. Just absolutely annihilated. I think John Fetterman is going to crush Dr. Oz, and it's not going to even be close. And I think this is... And I got to be honest with you, chat. This is one of my only pieces of optimism threads is Big John. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. But here is a plausible prediction in my own mind. John Fetterman is going to win in Pennsylvania when the rest of the Democrats get absolutely fucking annihilated. And he's instantly going to become a front runner for president. Instantly going to become a front runner for president in 2024 or 2028. 2028. We're going to be so old, chat. And John Fetterman has great policies. He's bold in his way he talks. He actually confronts the right. God forbid you find a left winger who confronts the right and doesn't pussyfoot around about figuring out how we can empathize with them. Legitimately, John Fetterman is the only future we have for Democratic politics. We need big boys. We need big boys in shorts. And this is the type of candidate. We need unconventional candidates because the Pete Buttigiegs and the Connor Lambs of the world, everybody's got them pegged as the robots and the freaks that they are. No one's going to vote for that. Actually, the ruling applies if states assist private schools that it has to include religious ones. Solution, only fund public schools. Good point, Luna. I couldn't agree more. Is there any worry that this guy's going to let us down once he's in office, a la AOC? I regret to inform you that there's no such thing as a politician that doesn't, quote, let you down. It's called reality. You are not that person, so you're going to disagree with that person. If the only person who's not going to let you down is yourself, and quite frankly, even you would probably let yourself down. Here, I can tell you, I'm not interested in a type of politics that expects perfection and then wants to quit when they don't get it. Because guess what? That's not real. That's baby brain shit. I'm literally copiuming myself so hard that they'll make up some excuse about health or something that Joe Brandon isn't running as an incumbent. I mean, I think the main reason they're going to go with Joe Biden is to stop the left. Because for centrists in the Democratic Party, stopping the left is the #1 priority, more than defeating fascism, more than anything. The idea that we might have universal health care is more devastatingly dangerous to a fucking Hillary Clinton than fascism. Voting for Israelis' Iron Dome funding, she didn't vote for it. You're wrong. AOC does so much good. Yeah, she abstained. She was given a ticket for indecent exposure. This is what she is wearing. Louisiana, by the way.
Guess what? You see my outfit? I got a fucking ticket for indecent exposure in Winfield, Louisiana. Okay? Indecent exposure. All of my bits are covered. The fuck? Are you kidding me? At a family event where there's alcohol being literally handed out for free, and that's a family event, and 3 female cops came up to me and gave me a fucking ticket. I live a mile down the road. They literally could have just been like, hey, ma'am, could you put some clothes on? And I would have been like, yeah, cool. I'll be right back. But no, they stood there and gave me a fucking ticket for indecent exposure. Are you kidding me?
You better fight that shit. Fight that shit. You do not want an indecent exposure fucking conviction. Jesus Christ. Centrists are throwing trans people under the bus to stop fascism. They're not trying to stop fascism. They don't give a fuck. All right, let's enjoy John Fetterman making fun of Dr. Oz. This is what, and it's funny because John is kind of doing dad memes, and it works.
There are very few US politicians who know how to properly utilize social media. Unfortunately, Donald Trump was one of them. However, John Fetterman is quickly proving that he knows how to use social media to not only push his political messaging, but to essentially destroy his political opponent. Now, on Twitter, he's been going after Dr. Oz, and he has been ruthless. They're both running for Senate in the great state of Pennsylvania. And so recently, Dr. Oz tweeted this. This is from last week. He said, I had an informative discussion about the worst supply chain issues the company has experienced in 39 years. We need to stop Biden's war on American energy and allow our communities and businesses to thrive again. I'll be a voice for you in the Senate. And so John Fetterman quote tweeted that and decided to use this hilarious image. My dream construction truck, really operate and dig, experience the fun with the digger, right? Just kind of like mocking him. And Dr. Oz deleted the tweet, which I think is hilarious. Just so funny. And the list goes on and on. In response, again, he deleted the tweet. John Fetterman also called Dr. Oz out for misspelling his own hometown when he announced that he'd be running. So he did that, and let's actually fast forward to graphic 4 here. How do you do fellow Pennsylvania residents? And it's like an
Anna is reading this like a fucking boomer. Dr. Oz has got the name of his hometown wrong in his official statement of candidacy. How do you do, fellow PA residents? It's like, what the fuck?
Image of Steve Buscemi
from 30 Rock.
From 30 Rock.
People gotta know that's where that meme's from. Greatest comedy I've ever seen.
I love it. I love it. And he keeps ratioing Dr. Oz while doing it.
You take a shit? No, I'm just trying not to react in a mean way about that incredibly lib take. Anyway, going on.
Here's another example. So it's a Salon tweet that says Dr. Oz invests up to $715,000 in companies he blames for skyrocketing insulin costs, which isn't surprising. In fact, I think there are probably plenty of politicians, both on the Democrat side and Republican side, who have done this. And in response, John Fetterman tweets an image of the hot dog saying, "We're all trying to find the guy who did this," which I love. But like, I wanted to highlight this because I think it's really, really important to understand what tends to resonate with people, because I think in the early aughts, earnest passion to speak out against the opposing party was effective messaging. Okay,
first of all, John does that. I just want to stop her right here. John does that constantly. If you go to John's Twitter feed, he's lambasting Joe Manchin, and he says, "I'll vote like a Democrat," and that owns all the centrists. All the centrists can't handle that, because what does he mean by that? He's like, "Oh, we're gonna raise the minimum wage. We're gonna protect the union way of life. We're going to blah 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 blah." He rips them apart, and all the centrists are sitting there mad, biting their lip. They're checkmated by him. He does that earnest shit, but he's also unabashedly in his positions. He says, legalize marijuana now. That's common sense for most people.
But I feel like that earnest, passionate argument doesn't really resonate anymore. In fact, if anything, it seems to empower the right wing more, because all they seem to want to do is own the libs.
I'd say that I agree with Anna on this, is that it does resonate, but it also opens you up to look at this triggered lib. Look at this cringe. Look how cringe this lib is. That is the single most effective right-wing attack, because a lot of people are profoundly insecure. And so if you can effectively say this person is cringe and everybody who agrees with them is cringe, a lot of people are going to feel that urge to socially conform, and they're going to go away from the cringe person. That's an effective reactionary technique, is to associate people that have a certain view with being cringe. That's the whole cringe SJW trope that's everywhere now, is because that's an effective way of arguing from a position of optics without actually addressing the points.
So if you're enraged, you should be enraged. A lot of the stuff that they do is awful, right? But you have to put that aside and think about, okay, what is the most effective way to message? And right now, I think mocking these people works a lot better than being offended by them, if you know what I mean.
It's a good point because, I mean, Dr. Oz is a joke, so treat him like a joke, right? He's a joke. He is running on a as Fetterman's been pointing out, where does he even live? 2, he is running on a medical freedom platform, as there are no vaccine mandates in this country. There are none. The Biden administration implemented, and now, whatever. But at the time, the Biden administration implemented a vaccine mandate for companies with over 100 employees, or you had to be tested. That wasn't even a vaccine mandate. You just had to be tested, even if you were unvaccinated. And so now we're moving into a time period in this pandemic where literally everything's open. I'm here in socialist Brooklyn or whatever. Everything is open. Concerts, sporting events, whatever you want to see, Broadway shows. They're all open. There's nothing that is closed. And so the salience of his campaign, what even is it? Medical freedom? There's no there. And he's a reality TV show host who doesn't have the ability to communicate that well, in my opinion. He's no Donald Trump. And he's also just like not convincing as a Republican in the way that they want. There also was a video of him trying to shoot a gun that he had in the primary. And I saw people responded to me on Twitter or someone else saying, I'm a gun expert and he is like terrible at this. And I've never shot a gun in my life. I'm not into guns, but I saw him shoot it. And I was like, no, there's no way he's ever shot a gun before in his entire life. He's just not that good at this. And so you can exploit that by treating him like a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I think that his pandering is so obvious. The right wing.
Here, this is the ad she's talking about.
My father taught me how to handle my first gun. I taught my son Oliver how to do the same. I've been shooting and hunting my whole life. So when people say I won't support guns, they're dead wrong. Boom! Other conservatives know that I'm strong on the Second Amendment. Ted Nugent, Rick Perry, President Trump. But our Second Amendment is not just about hunting. It's about our constitutional right to protect ourselves from intruders or an overly intrusive government. So as your next US Senator, I will fight for our constitutional rights.
I just think, I don't like the way the way he talks. There's something just off about him.
Was not supportive of Donald Trump's endorsement of Dr. Oz. And they're like, what are you doing, bro? Like he was on television for a long time.
That reminds me of the Kerry ad, duck hunting. Kerry duck hunting. Like, didn't Kerry do an, that's what this reminded me of. The John Kerry duck hunt photo op. You guys remember this? Kerry goes goose hunting while Bush meets with Catholic Archbishop. The other guys have goose they shot. He does it. Just one of the all-time cringe fucking moments.
Voting things that we don't like, including a woman's right to choose, being supportive of the transgender community. And then, of course,
have I seen the Josh Hawley ad? Is there a new Josh Hawley ad? Link it. He talks like he's been coached by a consultant. Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
Immediately flipped specifically to win, the Republican primary for this Senate race in Pennsylvania. And so, look, it's already reflected in the polling, which I love to see, because to your point, I mean, Dr. Oz really has nothing to offer. His platform is a joke. So what I love is that Fetterman not only is taking the right messaging approach in mocking him and doing so effectively, he also has a great platform. So let's skip ahead to graphic 7 here. What I know to be true, price gouging is immoral. The union way of life is sacred. It built this nation. Healthcare is a basic human right. All work has dignity. All paychecks must too. LGBTQIA plus folks deserve equal protection under law. Immigration makes America America. Super strong, well thought out platform that, of course, touches on social issues that the mainstream Democratic Party pretends to care about. But more importantly, also talks about the bread and butter issues that impacts all Americans. And so he's such an incredibly strong candidate. I'm excited to.
John Kerry ordering a cheesesteak with Swiss was an all-time blunder. Everyone knows there's 2 acceptable choices when you get a cheesesteak: whiz or provolone. And if you're a politician, you get whiz. I'm sorry, but you got to eat the lowest common denominator. All right? That's it. That's it. If you're a politician, you go to Philadelphia, you get a whiz cheesesteak. You don't like it? Eat shit. Don't run for office then.
To see what the outcome of this race is. And one thing I know for sure, Dr. Oz not very excited. His campaign emails are hilarious because he's struggling. So let's skip ahead to the next graphic.
He sent this email out. This is a fucking Democratic email. This is the type of email a Democrat would send out. This is like Nancy Pelosi emails. Oh my God. He really is from New Jersey. Holy shit. Losing by a lot. I'm losing. Who approved this graphic? If I'm John Fetterman, I take this email and I put it on TV. Dr. Oz is right. He is losing because he's not from here. And then I'd be like, before he said he was for abortion rights. Now he says he's pro-life. Flip-flopping Oz. He's from New Jersey. He's a fake. You can't trust him. Losing by a lot. I'm losing. Incredible. This is urgent. A new media poll just came out and Dr. Oz is losing by a lot. If the election were held today, we'd lose. It's socialist John Fetterman will be in the Senate. We can't let that happen. Charlemagne, next to the 17 months.
This is one of his emails. I'm losing.
Oh, look, and they put urgent. Fetterman in scary dark lighting, and Oz is lit well.
A new media poll just came out, and Dr. Oz is losing by a lot. If the election were today, we'd lose, and socialist John Fetterman would be in the Senate. We can't let that happen. Yeah, so fearmonger about him being a socialist. Socialist was a dirty word, I don't know how many decades ago, but it's not enough to convince a party of voters who already were skeptical of you to support you, especially when you're offering them nothing at all.
I couldn't agree with you more about Fetterman being a strong candidate, and I really think the Democratic Party needs to learn from this.
Hey, chat, remember when Nomiki was like, vote for some other fucking guy? It was like ripping Fetterman apart. Wasn't that odd? Do you remember that? Why is Nomiki? I mean, like, I like Nomiki, but the political instincts are just questionable. Pelosi, hi, Pelosi here. I need your money because we can't figure out crap. Can you lend a hand today? Did you see Oz at the job site? No, hold on. Dr. Oz posing for an everyman pick with a $70,000 Yukon in the background. How about the fact that he's wearing tweed at a job site? What the fuck is happening? It's also June, dude. Why are you wearing a fucking coat and long pants? Jesus.
This race. He's local in that he was the mayor of Braddock. I remember back when I was with you guys at TYT, like that was an interview I helped coordinate because he was just a mayor then. And then he was lieutenant governor. And then, now he's running for Senate, and he is not someone who got like a $20 million parachute from Chuck Schumer like Amy McGrath in Kentucky. He's somebody who's been in the community, who has been elected office at multiple different levels, and he has a really good, strong union platform. And he speaks to that. And if the Democrats really want a chance, they can't.
And by the way, chat, we've had some discussions. Many of you are not from Philadelphia, so you may not know this, but this is what a Philadelphia cheesesteak looks like.
Situation inside, the line just kind of wraps around. It really has a diner kind of feel to it, an old diner style. They have some of the old photos, the vintage photos, all of the people who have been in here, signatures. Snake your way around the line and eventually get to the front where you can see them chopping up the steak and you make your order.
This is the whiz. This is mandatory. If you're a politician and you're running for office, it's mandatory.
They have just a massive pile of beef going all the time. It looks like kind of that medium shred in texture, but that beef is just continuously just sizzling and boiling in its own juices. The cheese whiz move though here is, they've got it down. He put some at the bottom, some at the top. We got it with the whiz.
That's called cheese whiz, chat.
So we got it with some peppers on the side. We're gonna go outside, step outside. They have some tables where we're gonna eat.
All right, here we go. Jim Steak, South Street. Here we go.
Everybody's gonna tell me their favorite. Everyone's gonna tell me their favorite chop now. Now listen, I like provolone over whiz myself, personally. But you know, if you're a politician and you're coming to Philadelphia, you gotta get whiz. That's just mandatory. Angelo's is the best. That's pretty good. The one thing I couldn't stand when I visited Philly is a ton of places take cash only. Yeah, it's because they're organized crime fucking fronts. You do cash only because then you can layer in your criminal fucking shit better. Anyway, let's keep going.
Can't just do this short-term thing where they appeal to suburbanites, because that's going to dry up and then we're descending into fascist territory in this country. You have to build a campaign that appeals to the working class in this country.
Whenever you take Visa, well then you have transactions that get calculated. And the IRS could go in when you get forensically audited, they can say, you're telling me that's 80% of your business was cash? That's odd. That's typical businesses of your style have 40% cash. And it's like, you just say cash only, and then you can cook the books a lot better. It's also to avoid credit card processing fees. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're trying to avoid the credit card processing fees. Yeah, definitely. We like to make it harder for people to be customers. That saves us money, actually.
And promote unionization. Biden has actually done a decent job with his rhetoric on that. And his NLRB has been good in supporting unions and has been the best NLRB in terms of their support. The asphalt
company I work for doesn't report any cash purchases. They're just tax evading. So they're probably not a money laundering operation. They're just committing tax fraud. They're just committing tax fraud. So, you know, if you're with a business and they like to report their cash, they're probably doing money laundering. If they don't do their cash, they're normal. They're probably a legitimate business. Can I get a shout out for the UK rail union on strike right now up and down the country? Yeah, that's pretty base. We might take a look at that today or tomorrow.
Of unionization efforts and going after terrible practices from bosses and from corporations and trying to crush unions. That's a good thing. But there needs to be more messaging, more emphasis on the PRO Act, and more.
Like, here's a tweet that Dr. Oz deleted, but if you take a closer look, Oz had a plastic cover put over the seat and a paper mat on the floor to protect his shoes. Yeah, there is a plastic cover on the seat, and there is some sort of something. Looks like paper mat. I mean, you know, those are expensive shoes. Have you seen Crenshaw's Avengers campaign ad? Like, is it new?
More broader pro-union politics embraced by Democratic Party candidates, and Fetterman is going to be. I hope he has success. It's looking good right now. Knock on wood. And I hope that the people actually learn lessons from his campaign.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis.
That was a very funny fucking video. Thank you.
The Republican Party, Dr. Mehmet Oz, joins us right now. Dr. Oz, good morning.
Good morning, my friends.
So what do you make of the fact that they're trying to shut down the area, trying to bring Washington, D.C. to a standstill over the fact that Roe v. Wade may be overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court?
Steve, I think Roe was wrongly decided. This is a correction of an error. The state should be making these decisions. It gives people the power, which is exactly what I would like to see more of as a U.S. Senator. The federal government, it controls too much. It's too authoritarian. It's too overreaching. Gives states the rights to make these decisions. That way, citizens, people viewing the show right now, can be more involved.
Sure. You know, speaking of the Supreme Court, it was last week when an assassination attempt was thwarted by the guy who traveled from California to do it. Apparently he chickened out or got cold feet and called the cops and said, I came to kill Justice Kavanaugh. That's a big story. And yet yesterday on the Sunday shows, that is to say, they did a lot on the 1-6 hearings on Capitol Hill. Certainly a big topic on Capitol Hill last week, but they did not do 1 second of coverage about how somebody came from California to kill Brett Kavanaugh. What's up with that?
I mean, it's judicial intimidation. It undermines the rule of law. It's something we've tolerated already too much. Here in Philadelphia, we're seeing gangland-style shootings in areas of the city that are fairly cosmopolitan tourist attractions. You know, South Street, which is a very popular place here. I took my wife, Lisa, who you know, our first date there. We had a big-time shooting there with 5 different purposes.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you're not from New Jersey. That sounds like something somebody from Jersey would do.
To come to clean it up. We're tolerating these issues far too commonly. It normally.
My God, he's such a bad politician. He's so fucked. Dem John Fetterman leads Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania Senate race despite poor Biden approval. Only 50% of Pennsylvania voters would rate the economy as good. Joe Biden is an anchor. My God, Joe Biden is an anchor. You fucking loser. Oh, let me like the Dennis tweet. This technique of trying to link non-establishment Dems to him is not going to work. Well, that's a big advantage that John Fetterman has. Are you watching the stream unsubbed? You're making income inequality worse. You are doing anti-praxis. We are the only Twitch stream that will not accept scam advertisers, and I will never fuck you over by selling you crap.